What to do, my fools? It's your homeboy Q2 in the house. Just doing another update. Had a bit of a coughing session there, but at least I can. Hold on. Anyway, at least I can talk about the Fire Emblem Warriors videos that I was trying to upload. Obviously, I didn't upload all of the history mode, which was my intention. I just stopped at a certain point because I needed to make a decision. But at the very least, I am glad that the video where I played as Anna as level 1 in the most difficult final stage seems to get a lot of viewership. Now, obviously it's not that much, but at least people seem to enjoy it. That much I'm thankful for. I was hoping people would like it. So thank you guys very much for that. As far as the decision I decided to make while the videos were being uploaded each day, I decided I would go to the hospital to try to get the heart failure problem at least somewhat situated. One of the things is that it seems like some months ago, something happened to my lungs that I felt like I just had shortness of breath the entire time. But from what the doctors said, apparently some of that extra fluid had merged within the bottom side of my lung, my right lung, apparently. So I needed to go into lung surgery. Though oddly enough, wasn't afraid of going into surgery, but after coming back from the hospital, it just kind of feels like that I'm just very tired all the time because of how I had to rest in the same bed, not moving for so long. It's like my lung feels better, but my body just feels sore. And I've been out of the hospital for at least a week, and I still just don't really feel like moving so much. But making matters worse is that once I got home, normally, not normally, but usually if I leave for a long time, I would turn off all of the at least the electronics in my computer, the TV, and stuff. But I'm guessing once I did that, the battery that was in the PC must have died. Because now I can't use my PC anymore. And making matters even worse was that my newest laptop that I took to the hospital with me, which worked perfectly the whole time, when I plugged it back in, once I was home, all of a sudden, burned my battery in the laptop. So now I don't have that anymore. The battery, I mean. I can still use it with the AC adapter, but there's some things that would be a lot easier to do while having it wireless. having it remote. Anyway, what I wanted to get into, was that when I got back from the hospital, and even when I was in the hospital, I took my Switch 2 with me, started practicing playing Pokemon Champions. I wanted to get back home and record myself playing it, but with the PC not working, I had to do some kind of real struggle with the laptop to get it to hook up with a video capture device, but at the very least I got it working. It's one of the things that I always did want to try, the competitive Pokemon, basically the Pokemon tournament stuff, much like, I guess, like the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. You guys know I play Yu-Gi-Oh as well, but I also wanted to try to use the competitive Pokemon. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to go into a Pokemon tournament because I'm just like way too old. And like, I don't know how old they let people walk in there and play the game. Anyway, what I decided to make, because back in Pokemon Sword and Shield, when I first saw this Pokemon, I really thought that, well, I guess it was a real funny looking Pokemon. Didn't really know what Game Freak was thinking creating it, except, I guess, making the not the mime, but the comedic British man who usually walks around kind of funny in silent film and stuff. I believe that's what the character is supposed to be based off of. That would be Mr. Rhyme. And when I first looked at it in Sword and Shield, I thought, looking at the move pool and everything, he doesn't seem to be that bad. I actually do kind of want to build a team around him, but I never took the opportunity up until now. Because apparently in Pokemon Champions, they decided to bring him in. Which I kind of thought was weird, because I thought they would pretty much just bring everybody's favorites in the Pokemon Champions to play. So I'm surprised to see Rhyme in the first few picks of Pokemon available in Pokemon Champions. Now, I'm not the only person that tried to use Mr. Rhyme in the competitive Pokemon Champions, the ranked double battles. There is one other person that did, but looking at his moveset on Mr. Rhyme, I really don't know what he was trying to do or accomplish, because moves didn't really seem to be all that optimal, in my opinion. Now, when I first made the Mr. Rhyme team, it was more of a Choice Scarf variant. You try to max speed it with Choice Scarf, and Oddly enough, I didn't know that it got sheer cold, which at some point made me think, wait, if Mega Halucha has no guard, but he definitely gets entrainment, he can pass on no guard to any other Pokemon. And if he passes it on to Mr. Rhyme, he'll just have always hitting sheer cold. I thought that was a great idea, and I seriously thought that I'd be the only person to think of that, but no, that definitely wasn't the case. Although I do seem to be the only person that is using it with Mr. Rhyme. But other people are using the same thing, just not with the same Pokemon, except Halucha. So, about what, Tuesday, a couple of days ago, while I was playing Pokemon Champions, played for maybe like 5 hours till I got tired. Realized that I didn't really have an answer for Tailwind. Nor any super fast Pokemon that already had Choice Scarf with their Pokemon. Pretty much anything that outspeeds on the natural speed priority. Now, I did have Anti-Trick Room for this team, which worked out perfectly. But I believe that if I was going to have a way to deal with Trick Room, or to start to deal with Tailwind, that I should probably reevaluate the moveset of my Mr. Rhyme and go ahead and just use a slower Trick Room variant. Now, I have the last match that I had played on this video, which I did want to explain, but just the small amount of recording, it's just too tiring for me. So I'll just let the replay of the match happen. You guys can see how my team works for yourselves. At least the Trick Room Mr. Rhyme. Now, when I was able to take out the second and third Pokemon, when both of their HP reached 0 at the same time, that's when I got disconnected from the network. I don't know if that's a rage quit, because I see people call a forfeit a rage quit, but people forfeit all the time in Pokemon when they realize they just can't win, just to not waste any more time. So I really don't call those rage quits. So was this a true rage quit? I don't know, but I'll let you guys decide that in the comments section if you wish to discuss. I'm going to try to get back to resting, basically. But thank you for still watching my videos. I'll see if I can upload more stuff once I finally get my computer situation fixed. I'll talk to you guys later. So have a very good night. Peace.